Hey everyone, my name is Ross Gray,
And I'm Ryan Bourne.
and this is the Social Skim brought to you by Cloud Campaign. Cloud Campaign is the easiest way to manage social media. So this week we got a handful of stories. The first one being that Twitter has released audio-only live streams.
Oh, that's really cool. We should probably try that out for our podcast.
That's true. That's kind of what we do to some degree anyway. But they were saying that it's going to be on Twitter as well as on Periscope, and it's definitely just piggybacking on the rise in popularity of podcasts.
It'll be interesting to see how many people use that feature versus a video live stream, because I feel like there are a lot of people that are interested in live streaming just because of the additional publicity you can get from a marketing standpoint, but they don't necessarily know, like what to film, or they feel like they're not being professional if they do it in their house. And so just doing audio streams is a good way to give them some sort of flexibility there.
Yeah, I mean, according to the Periscope team, they were saying that this is actually something that has been requested consistently by the community. And I guess that there's been people already doing it by just covering the camera. So they figured why not just do it. They're definitely just copying Facebook as they always do. Facebook released this back in 2016.
Yeah, well, it's a good option though. Definitely better than covering the camera.
Yeah. Our next story is that Instagram has released the Parents Guide, which is kind of funny.
Did you read through it yet?
I have not read through the Parents Guide entirely. I know basically what it is describing to parents what Instagram is and what security features they have, trying to make parents feel more comfortable.
I guess it's probably a strong push to try and get more of the younger generation onto the platform, make parents feel at ease, and just like make less of a friction point there. Because I know Facebook and Instagram are having a tough time with the younger generation, and that's kind of the future livelihood of their business, really.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. And, I think they definitely want to avoid being cast in a negative light. So making sure that interactions can be heavily monitored and whatnot by parents is probably a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our next one is that Facebook has updated airline ads. So now that you can be way more specific if you are an airline and you're trying to target your customers. So if you are a user of a social media platform and maybe you have looked into travel or looked into travel pictures or even looked at an airline, now you're probably going to start seeing flight ads.
I wonder if they even look at the consumer's location and see, like, if it changes frequently, they assume they're a frequent flyer or frequent traveler, and then we'll start to show them travel ads based off that.
That would be interesting. They didn't mention that, but they did give a anecdotal example. Air France has started using these, and they said that their customer acquisition cost has lowered by 66%.
Whoa, that's crazy. 66%. Did they note whether that was compared to Facebook previously or just the CAC in general?
I'm sorry. So I was mistaken there. It's not customer acquisition cost. It's cost per click. And I believe it is through Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's cool for the consumer. I like travel ads a lot more than I like any other ads. I mean, I even pay for a service to get travel deals emailed to me every day. And so having it just kind of on Facebook is a lot more convenient and free for me.
No, I mean, it's something that I think will be popular with the airlines. So our next story, and this is something I think is kind of cool, is that Snapchat has released their new Specs, which are smart glasses that can capture up to 70 videos or hundreds of photos on a single charge.
So I'm looking at them right now, and it looks like they look like real glasses. Like they came out with the what are they called, spectacles, right? Before Snapchat spectacles, and they were sort of ungodly looking. Very few people would actually wear them in public because you kind of get shamed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these ones actually look cool. They're all black. The frames sort of look like Ray-Bans. I don't know.
And you can wirelessly transfer the pictures from your glasses to your phone, and they're water resistant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That just opens the whole world of possibility there, being water resistant.
I know. It seems like a pretty cool invention. I'm sure it'll be, I want to buy a pair, so I'm sure they'll get some revenue from it.
Yeah, I'm curious how many people actually buy them. I mean, I like the idea of it and the novelty. I just personally don't think I would use it. I'm also not on Snapchat a ton, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people actually purchase them and if that makes any kind of dent in the overall usage of Snapchat as a platform.
Yeah, I mean, playing into that, I think Snapchat is this plays in our next story plays into this. Snapchat's really trying to make a push for increasing revenue. That's been a big issue since the genesis of the company, and so they're hosting e-commerce webinars that are going to be to describe as well as e-commerce advertising to marketers. So there's a handful of dates. We have them listed in the article itself, where you can register. That will just give more information as to how to advertise on the Snapchat platform.
It seems like there are a lot of uncertainties or just unknowns when it comes to advertising on Snapchat. And our team was at the Facebook Community Boost event recently here in Menlo Park, and it's a great way to meet local businesses, but also learn more about the platform and how to advertise effectively on social media. And so it makes sense that Snapchat is also kind of making a move into the space and trying to educate marketers how to use their platform more effectively. Um, and also from like Snapchat's perspective as a business, webinars are a great way to increase, inbound leads. And if you set up some sort of lead gen form and email campaign, it's a great way to have really low customer acquisition costs.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Twitter, the first story is that Twitter has launched Bookmarks for desktop. So this is something they had with their app as it is, but now you can also bookmark things on your desktop. So instead of liking something, you can just kind of save it as in, I'm going to review this later.
Okay. Yeah, I actually didn't realize this existed on Twitter. I use it on Facebook because Facebook has a similar feature where you can save a post for later. I mostly use it like for ad ideas, looking to see what other people are promoting or running ads on, and I'll save that to kind of use for ourselves, for our company.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that Twitter decided to add that as well.
Yeah. And our last story of the day is that Twitter had banned Alex Jones, who is this kind of controversial figure, and it seemed to be making the news all over social media. So although I don't want to touch politics, the 10-foot pole, it was worth noting just because it was everywhere.
Is this a permanent ban or a temporary? Because I remember maybe a week ago or a couple weeks ago, they put a temporary ban on Alex Jones.
So the verbiage they used was a little bit confusing because they said today we permanently suspended
Oh, okay.
real Alex Jones and InfoWords, but suspended kind of implies temporary, right?
It does, yeah.
And then permanent. So
it's an oxymoron.
it's a little bit of an oxymoron. But they've also even talked about, looking at accounts that are even associated with him and taking those off. So I would assume they're not going to let him on anytime soon. Anyway, that's it for this week. Tune in every Tuesday for the most up-to-date social media news. Find us on iTunes and wherever else podcasts live.
And while you're there, go ahead and leave us a quick review. We listen to every single one of them, and they help us make the show better each week.
Thank you so much.
See you next week.
This show is brought to you by Cloud Campaign, commentary by Ross Gray and Ryan Bourne, original music produced by Daniel Rostenfeld, and extended version composed by Discovered. See you next week for another episode of The Social Skim.